Greetings, boys and girls. In today's video, we are going to be modeling perimeter and area formulas. This is a review of what you've done in 4th grade, so I don't expect it to be really brand new. Okay, in 5th grade, when you get ready to take your STAAR test, they're actually going to give you this reference materials, this sheet that you see right here. And what's great about this sheet is they give you formulas. You don't have to memorize formulas for perimeter. Because look, they tell you if you have a perimeter of a square, you're just multiplying 4 times the side. If you have the perimeter of a rectangle, you're just looking at 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So I wanted to first start looking at these formulas because these are going to help us. Now also understand that this is the same thing as P equals L plus W plus L plus W, okay? And some people will even look at it as P equals 2 times L plus W. All of that's going to give us the same concept. We're just looking at 2 lengths and 2 widths, and that's what we're going to be adding together. All right, let's get into the first problems. So you just simply need to find the perimeter of these rectangles or squares. Now they give us the side lengths. We have this, which is 6 feet, and they give us this 8 feet down here. Well, I know that this 6 feet is the same thing on the other side. This is also going to be 6 feet. And then finally, I have my 8 feet down here, and that's 8 feet up there. So just in case you forgot, you're not just going to add 8 plus 6. You're looking at perimeter equals 2 times 8 plus 2 times 6 because you have 2 6s and 2 8s. Okay, so we think about that, and that 2 times 8 would be 16, and we're adding that to 2 times 6, which would be 12, and then 16 plus 12 would simply equal 28. So our answer would be 28 feet. Okay? In this next picture, we actually have a square. I can tell it's a square because, look, I have 6 yards as my length and 6 yards as my width. A lot of times, they're not going to even show you one of those. They're going to just give you 6 yards. And then they want you to realize, oh, to find the perimeter of this square, I am going to multiply 4 times 1 side length. Okay, so on our chart before, we saw 4s, which means 4 times the side length. So we can simply write it as 4 times the side length of 6, which would be 24 yards. So my answer would be 24 yards. Okay, let's look at a couple more. Remember, you can always press pause if I'm going too quick. Okay, here, we're going to use our formula, P equals 2L plus 2W. So I have my length of 5, 2 times 5. I like to put in parentheses so that it helps me remember my order of operations. And then my other side length is 4. So I'm going to multiply 2 times 4. Okay, 2 times 5 would be 10, plus 2 times 4 would be 8. 10 plus 8 would be 18. 18 meters. Remember, perimeter is also telling us the distance around an object. So, you know, that's what we're really calculating, and that's why we're able to just add those lengths. Okay, in number 4, we're going to put our our formula, P equals 2 times L plus 2 times W. So that would be, this picture does not look proportional. They have 9 over here and 3 over there, but that's fine. So it's 2 times 9 plus 2 times 3. Okay? 2 times 9 would simply be 18. We're going to add that to 2 times 3, which is 6. 18 plus 6 would be 24. Okay, so my answer would be 24 inches. You can press pause on the video and answer 5 and 6 on your own. Okay, let's look at number 7. Now we have a word problem. Mrs. Sanders will put a border around. Ooh, look at that. So she's doing border around a bulletin board that is 52 inches. I'm going to draw it. So there's my bulletin board. 52 inches long and 30 inches wide. Okay. How many inches of border will she need? I'm seeing border, and I know the border's going around. So when I'm thinking about something going around, the distance around is perimeter. So they're really asking me, what is the perimeter? So again, I'm going to use my formula. P equals 2L plus 2W, or 2 times length plus 2 times the width. Okay, looking at that, that would be 2 times 52 inches plus 2 times 30 inches. All right, so now I'm doubling 52. I know if I double 50, that's 100, and then double 2 would be 4. So 2 times 52 would be 104, plus 2 times 30 is 6. When I add those together, I get 164. So my answer is that she's going to need 164 inches of border. 164 inches of border. All right, I'll let you do number 8 on your own. You can press pause on the video. And then afterwards, we will move on to looking at area formulas. All right, now I'm going to refer us back to this reference materials, because again, they do not expect you to memorize anything. They said, look, well, okay, they do expect you to memorize some things, but you don't have to memorize the formulas for finding area of a square or a rectangle. Now look at this. The area of a square would be S times S, which represents side length times side length. Okay? Notice that it's going to be the same number because you have a side length of a square, and a square has 4 equal sides. For the area of a rectangle, this is one you have seen a million times. Okay? Area equals length times width. That's one we use often. Now here's one that you really didn't see last year. And they're saying that area is the base times the height. Okay? For a rectangle. So if you just think of a rectangle and you think of this being the base and then this being the height. Okay? And how I would imagine that is if it was like kind of sitting straight up. But it's the same concept. It's one side length times the other side width. Okay? So we can look at a couple of problems. So in this first one, number 1, I have, they're asking us to find the area of a square or rectangle. They give me a side length of 6 inches and then a width of 3 inches. So I'm simply thinking of area equals length times width. So when I plug in my numbers, 6 times 3 would give me an area of 18 inches squared, okay, or square inches. 18 inches squared. Okay, now look at this one. We may call it a rhombus or a square. And what we notice is that the side lengths are the same. I love letting us know that a lot of times they're only going to give us one side length because they're both going, all the side lengths are the same. But a lot of times in the picture, they'll just give us one. And so we need to understand that because it's a square, it is going to be, my equation is side length times side length. So it's simply going to be 12 times 12. Okay? So 12 times 12, hopefully we have that one memorized too. That's going to be 144. Don't forget our units. It's square feet or feet squared. Okay, let's look at some others. Okay, in number 3, we have a rectangle. Our formula is area equals length times width, and when we plug our numbers in, we have 18 times 9. Is that one I can do in my head? Well, I can. I can think of 18 as almost 20, right? So 20 times 9 would be 180. And then I'm going to take away 2 9s from that, which would be 18. Okay? Some people might not want to do all of that regrouping. Let's see. It's almost like taking 20 away, which would be 160, but there's 2 more still there. So 162. Okay, 162 what? Meters squared. There is absolutely nothing wrong with lining these numbers up and multiplying the good old-fashioned way. 8 times 9 would be 72. Carry my 7. 1 times 9 would be 9 plus 7 would be 16. Okay, I just checked it. All right, so my answer was 162 meters squared, or square meters. Final problem. The next problem, it is not the last one. The next problem, I have 10 yards and 24 yards on this rectangle. And so my formula is, again, area equals length times width. And when I'm looking at my numbers, my length can be 24. My width can be 10 yards. Multiply by 10, add a 0 to the end. I can do that because these are whole numbers. So 24 times 10 would simply be 240. And I don't want to forget my units, yards squared or square yards. Okay, 240 square yards. All right. In our next problem, look at this. They ask us to find the area of a rectangle, but they don't even draw the rectangle for us. But guess what? They tell us the length and the width. And using our formula, we simply write area equals length times width. And now I'm just going to plug these numbers in. So that would be 25 times 10. Again, multiply by 10, add a 0 to the end. I get 250, don't forget my units, centimeters squared or square centimeters. Okay, we'll look at one more problem like this together. Our equation is A equals L times W, which represents area equals length times width. And in this situation, we're going to be multiplying our length, which they gave us, 8 feet, times our width, which they also gave us, 4 feet. 8 times 4, that's a fact. 32, don't forget our units, square feet or feet squared. Okay, I'm going to let you do 7 and 8 by yourselves. So feel free to pause this video. And then afterwards, we'll look at number 9. Okay, number 9. Joanne will cover a bulletin board with paper. So now I'm thinking about this bulletin board. She's going to cover it. So we're thinking about the space inside. This is how I know I'm talking about area. Anytime that I talk about what's inside covering something, that's the concept of area. Okay, so she's going to cover the bulletin board with paper. And then they tell us the bulletin board measures 6 feet by 4 feet. How many square feet of paper does Joanne need to cover the board? Okay, so looking at my bulletin board, this is 6 feet, and this side would be 4 feet. Okay, now my formula is area equals length times width. And just looking at my picture, I can see that my length is 6 feet. My width is 4 feet. So I'm multiplying 6 times 4, which will give me 24 square feet. 24 square feet. And that's how much of this bulletin board paper she's going to need. Boys and girls, you can click pause and solve number 10 on your own. Well, in today's video, what we did is we used formulas to actually find perimeter and area. This is a super important skill that you will definitely use in life. You know, if you're ever putting up fence around your house, if you're putting border around something, those are concepts of perimeter. Those are times when you'd be calculating perimeter. If you were covering something, buying a rug, making sure it fits in your room, painting a wall, making sure you have enough paint, that's when you're going to need area. You'll have to calculate area. So these are real world skills that you'll want to use. And the good news is when you take the STAAR test, they give you the reference. So you don't have to memorize these formulas. Notice there's also volume. Later on this week, we're going to be talking about volume because that's a new concept for 5th grade, but you're still using formulas. Okay? I hope today's video was helpful and it was a good review for you. Until we meet again, à tout à l'heure. Goodbye.